is that if I'm right, this space goes from 2 trillion to 10 trillion to 100 trillion to 200 trillion. That's what I kind of think. The magnitude of wealth that this space creates over the next 10, 20 years is the largest the world has ever seen in the shortest period of time. This is the biggest, crypto has been and remains the biggest macro opportunity we have ever been given. It's the best performing asset of all time in the fastest period of time. This is the big one. This is the one where you don't get a chance to bitch. We didn't get a chance. They got rich.
This cycle is unlike anything I've ever seen, says Real Vision CEO and founder Raoul. In this interview, he discusses the bull market and the absolutely nasty gains that are up for grabs. In his own words, this is the time. The big trade is now on. Raoul explains that unlike previous cycles where Bitcoin usually skyrocketed in price and dragged the altcoin market with it after the halving, this time, weeks before the halving, Bitcoin not only comfortably sits above the previous cycle's all-time high, it has set a new all-time high and is looking forward still. Raoul explains that he can only speculate about what the market will be like post-halving. From there, he reiterates his long-term thesis of buying and holding Bitcoin, Ether, and Solana, but this time he explains why he's most bullish on Solana. He also touches on a special subclass of assets that will be revealed in the video. Let's dive in to hear it all.
We're in crypto summer. We just started crypto summer. Crypto summer is up only. Yes, you get the 30% pullbacks that happen in your face in minutes, but that's crypto summer. This whole year should be crypto summer. Now, we're all debating whether we get a left translated cycle or a bubble cycle that goes on further than we imagine. None of us know that yet, but we're at the sweet spot. Global liquidity is picking up, should continue going forwards. Business cycles should pick up. So this is the time. This is the great time. And this is the time when ETH outperforms Bitcoin, Solana outperforms ETH, a bunch of alts will outperform Solana. So it is the great opportunity. The big trade is now on. All financial markets work the same way. You put capital in and it's coming into Bitcoin. It then flows into the less liquid assets and they rise more. It's just all markets work the same way. So it comes into Bitcoin, it pushes up the other assets. So the next phase is obviously the ETH ETF. ETH is really an interesting dynamic because the more ETH you buy, the more the supply is reduced. With about 28% locked up in bloody staking, it's going to get quite a disruly market. It's just going to be very price gappy to the upside and probably the downside. So that's going to get fun. Solana has been the main adoption horse because it's going up the adoption curve. So it tends to outperform. So I just think you just have that perfect risk curve where Bitcoin starts the cycle well, ETH then starts to outperform. If you look at the ETH Bitcoin chart, it looks like it should start to break higher over time. So we should see that continue. And then if I look at the Solana ETH chart, it's about to break higher again. This perfect little flag pattern should keep going. So it looks as is and as I've kind of thought all the way through. I think nothing changes. Solana is ETH of the last cycle. Like this is a proper blockchain that's getting full adoption. So this is a real thing. Fire Dancer's the kicker. So we've got some real stuff happening here. So in terms of price targets, I mean, who the hell knows? But if we kind of replicate what ETH did last cycle, that was a 45x from the low. So you get somewhere like about $500. If I look at the other charts, I get somewhere between 500 and 1,000. And it just depends on the structure of this market. If we get a bubble cycle, it'll go to 1,000. If we get some sort of left translated, it gets to 500. It's something like that.
So far, Raoul has provided a framework for how this cycle will shake out. He's explained that based on his everything code, this is the period where crypto performs best. He's also provided a setup for how the market will behave throughout this cycle. He expects Bitcoin to launch first, and then Ether follows with Solana and other alt layer ones coming later, but outperforming both their predecessors. He's particularly focused on Solana, predicting it could go as high as 1,000 USD per coin. Now he moves on to why he thinks this cycle could be like nothing we've ever seen. Sit back as we bring you more clips from the interview.
The rush. It's not happened yet. It's the same people still. Yeah, I can see my Twitter numbers growing again. They were flatlined for a long time, but they're still not growing fast. I hit 1 million 4 months ago, and I'm at like 1,020,000. So we're not seeing a massive influx. So you're right. I mean, look, there's some anecdotal evidence, yes, but we're not really seeing a mass participation. It's early in the cycle. We forget because, look, we were all quite lucky in getting this cycle quite right. So we feel like we've been in it all the way through. But don't forget, last last cycle, most of us were buying now. We
For
bought
us, it was
April,
later.
May, and June last
Us, it
time.
was-
But
it was
obviously, the price is further this time. So it's
Yeah.
different. So I don't know, and let's just keep an open mind. I think Michael's view is also right. I just don't think we know. So we just have to keep a very open mind, which is why I'm trying to use a probabilistic framework and just keep adjusting as we go.
Next, in a surprising twist, Raoul discusses meme coins, including his personal allocation and holdings. Let's head back in.
It's dumb as shit, and of course I own some. My setup is I'm really 95% just in my core positions, and then 5% of silly stuff, which I've got some stuff that's too small I won't talk about, and then I've got Whiff, and I've got Bonk, and I've got Doge. So I've got the dogs, because the dogs run first. This is the perfect point for the dog cycle, so you do a bit of that for the fun of it. But I'm not very good at this part of it, because you always end up and look back, and you're too late into a cycle. You look back, you got this shrapnel of useless shit. I mean, if I look back at my wallet last time around, the decentralized and sandbox and all of this stuff you get stuck with from narratives that you overstayed in, that's the issue, is not overstaying in this stuff.
Retail isn't here yet, and we're up past all-time highs even before the halving. Everything is setting up a perfect storm. That's the summary of Raoul's message today. He's also given some highly valuable allocation advice and even some insight into how he expects the market to perform. Overall, it seems we're in for a real treat, especially Solana holders. It's never been more imperative to jump in than now, as there's still time before the halving. What do you think about Raoul's advice on investing? To see the latest in crypto news, watch this video here.